very aggressive, potentially violent sport that is also, people are free to enjoy, because it's not politically incorrect, because there's no bloodshed. I mean, it's a license to use, technology and technical skills in competition, and nobody gets hurt.
Mark Thorpe is the creator of the event. About 2 years ago, I was reading Wired magazine, and there was a little article about it, and I thought it was a really cool idea. As time went on, I realized that he needed some help, and so we became partners in the whole thing.
For our second bout from Palo Alto, California, the Piranha Bot, driven by Camp TV. Let's welcome the Piranha Bot. Taking on the Piranha Bot from San Anselmo, driven by Taylor Tan and Larry Tan, the Spiked Master. Welcome to the arena, our next two contestants, ladies and gentlemen, Scott McNamara, Andy Roy.
I think he's kind of nervous. Some of these robots look pretty tough. Little kid on a bike might have some trouble out there.
Second contestant is James Strauss.
The thing I'm primarily concerned about is the pyrotechnics, whether...
I try to moderate. These are the booster kinds, so they don't have the ejection charge, and I tested them out in the lot.
Steve, our timekeeper, is going to give us the go. Match is started.
Case of gas to me.
Sounds like Happy Funbot is ready for lunch.
Happy Funbot is lightweight, so it's in the 25 to 50 pound category. Has a chainsaw for its primary weapon and then several secret weapons. It's made of Kevlar, polycarbon fiber, titanium, depleted uranium. It travels about 85 miles per hour.
But it's actually autonomous as far as, weed control and, pest control. It's also fairly effective for that too.
4 or 5 of these could bring in a whole harvest for a small size farm. This is his nose. These are his eyes.
It does have saw blades for wheels though.
Yeah.
It really does have saw blades.
And it can cut 2 pieces of wood at the same time.
And makes Julian fries.
It's completely indestructible.
Action!
SPS-3 was just the robot from hell as far as Happy Funbot was concerned. Not only was he fast and low built, he had a net. Funbots hate nets. He lost. Pinned.
Hi, my name is Christopher Carlberg from California, USA. And, well, this is a design I've been working for about 2 years now. Why did I make a walking robot? Well, for one, it hasn't really been done that well at Robot Wars, and I wanted to be the first to have a very good walking robot. Essentially racket balls that go into the cup here, and so you got a lot of cushioning here, plus you have a spring that this thing slides on, so it hits the ground a lot as it walks, but it has some cushioning. By having a walking robot to compete against robots that are lighter, this weighs a little under 50 pounds, but I fight 25-pound rolling robots, so I have a tremendous weight advantage. So I'm hoping to use that to just batter and destroy my
And this is our machine. It's basically entered in the featherweight category. It's basically consists of a vacuform polycarbonate shell that is pretty much bulletproof. Let me start us up here. It has an articulated jaw in front that's pneumatically operated. I'll flap it for you here. And a little wagging tail back here. And then if we can't overcome them with sheer brute force, we'll cute them to death. All right. Why don't you guys help lift it up here? Wait, I'll close the jaw. We entered the featherweight category because we could base the entire vehicle on a pre-existing monster truck platform. It has 4-wheel drive and 4-wheel steering as well, so it turns on a dime.
Featherweight robots have to weigh in between 5 and 25 pounds. In this fight, Pat used its speed to knock Dragon Wagon out, though he nearly disqualified himself when the flipper caught him and spun him under the arena doors. A helping hand pushed him back in. These two were very evenly matched and were heading for a draw, in which case the audience would have voted for the winner. But just as the 5-minute time was up, Attila snagged the enforcer and pinned him.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Time's up. Attila the Hun.
Hi, my name is Rick Winter, and I'm the builder and driver of KMM, a featherweight robot for Robot Wars. The first year, I actually was the world champion of featherweight division in both one-on-one and melee event with this robot, KMM. There's a lot of learning every year. You have to build new things to it because all the robots keep evolving. It's definitely a fast evolution sport.
The chassis, the running gear from a Topo robot, the Androbot robot that Nolan Bushnell did. If I do as good a job on some of the opponents as I did on my wheelbarrow, they'll have a lot of holes punched in them.
Operated by Supreme Commander Tilford and General Larry Bradley.
X1. We don't know what it means, but it's used in a lot of science fiction movies, so we picked up on it. It's a six-wheel robot with six-wheel drive. To steer it, one set of wheels goes forward and one set goes backwards. Our greatest strength is our flipper. We can flip other robots completely up into the air, we hope.
Let the games begin, says our judge, Gino Bill, and go!
It took about 1,200 hours in the shop over 8 months, and I spent nearly $4,000 constructing it. We have 6-wheel drive, independent on each side, and it can hit speeds of 22 miles an hour. On the front is our primary weapon. It's a 3-degree of freedom jointed cutting saw mounted on an arm. There's remote control. It spins at 33 teeth per second, right around 1,200 RPM. On the rear of the robot, we have a reciprocating pneumatic cylinder powered by compressed CO2. It shoots out about 12 inches and has a titanium tip to inflict maximum damage.
Again, the money was on Scorpion trashing up and over. But in Robot Wars, the unexpected happens. All the time.
And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, Up and Over!
This is our first year entering into Robot Wars. We wanted to build a robot that was really exciting to watch and exciting to look at. It would be entertaining for the people here. Out here on the front, we have a 2-horsepower gas engine that runs some steel cutting blades that are carbide tipped. This is normally used for cutting through cast iron pipe. The entire thing is shock loaded so that we can charge into a target and not bind the blades. The sides here, we have titanium rails to protect the wheels and to absorb side impacts and to resist all other cutting devices. And then in the very back, we have a rotating and panning and tilting pike. This is a middleweight class robot with heavyweight class features on it. We weigh in right now at about 103 pounds. One other thing I wanted to tell you is the little plastic window that you see on the front scoop. We have a solid state spy camera hidden behind that and a video transmitter on board. We watch a real-time video feed on a pair of virtual reality goggles. And we can see exactly where we're going and get lined up directly on our targets.
And they're ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Our safety doors are closed. Let's begin the match. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So this is the third in the series of the Satoru Special robots, which as you can see are highly low budget, and I guess an example of what someone with no previous engineering skills can accomplish. Anyway, basically what I got this year is an anti-wedge skirt, which was one of the primary things I wanted to incorporate on this vehicle. So basically some hinges, anything that could ride flush with the ground so that someone can't get underneath me to flip me, which happened last year in spectacular fashion. La Machine took no time to single me out and flip me in the corner like a pancake. And then I got a better drive system, which you can't see, but at least I got rubber wheels this year. And the traditional circular saw blade on the back. But probably the best and most last minute thing incorporated on the design was a little secret weapon trap door, which will pop open, and I've got spring-loaded launchers to launch grapples and I think it's about a 10-foot net. So hopefully I can trap somebody and
Middleweight robots have to weigh in between 51 pounds and 100 pounds. The organizers have banned nets from future competitions, which will make Agamemnon happy. So the ultimate high-tech versus low-tech battle ended with Agamemnon using its superior strength to pin the Satoru Special III for the regulation 30 seconds. This is the third annual Robot Wars, which is held every year in San Francisco. It's open to contestants from all over the world, and this year 86 robots signed up to compete. These heavyweight class robots weigh in from 101 pounds up to a maximum of 165 pounds.
I'm Mark Citrakian, and this is my robot, the Master. The Master came into existence back in 1994 for the first annual Robot Wars. And since then, the last 2 years, it's gotten bigger and heavier and meaner. The only part left actually that's still the same as 94 is this saw here.
In 95, the Master faced the awesome Thor in the heavyweight face-off finals. And though his saw was smashed, he still knocked Thor out.
Start the 30-second clock.
The spike on the end of the lifting arm ruptured the line. At that point, the lifting arm motor had broken off, but I still had the ability to press it into his body.
That did it. That did it.
There he is,
Thank
the
you.
winner,
Thank you.
Mark Satrakian.
The Master really is these two huge steel spheres. Inside the spheres are motors, batteries, speed controls, the radio. Everything it takes to drive the thing is contained in this. And then the weapons, like this saw here, attach onto the thing from the front or from the back. This mechanical arm attaches just like the saw. So what I can do is I can take the weapons off and put other ones on. I can change it around, change it before a match. I can turn the saw sideways. All of these things can be interchanged.
I've created this robot called Taz. No real unforeseen surprises going to come out of it. It's pretty much meant to just hit, destroy, and annihilate everybody. Well, actually, it's got power brakes on it, so the robot can't really move when it's sitting still. The whole top is a 360-degree, 6-mile-an-hour rotating top. We're hoping to really annihilate some people and put some big holes in some robots and do some serious damage.
Here again, the Master's saw has broken down, and Taz, using its massive braking power, manages to pin him for 30 seconds, which knocks the Master out of the competition. In the first round,
Taz, the winner.
I'm from Ventura, California, and this is Monster. The motors are protected by Lexan, top and bottom, and we have a spike on the front. I think I heard that we're going against Biohazard first, which is last year's champion. So we're a little bit concerned about that. We're going to do our best and bash them about. Hopefully they break.
Here we have the South Bay Mauler preparing to do battle with La Machine.
My name's Greg Munson. Trey Rosk and I, and Impact Media Group and New Tech have brought La Machine to Robot Wars. La Machine is a heavyweight robot. Last year it was a middleweight and it fared pretty well. It won 3 of the events. It's a real simple robot, as you can see. It's a simple wedge design, that's it.
In Robot Wars 95, La Machine tore its middleweight opponents to pieces and was a huge hit with the crowd. So the organizers invited La Machine to enter the heavyweight melee. Again, Thor put up a great fight, but was outmaneuvered and overpowered.
And as you can see, it's just a real heavy, simple robot. And its key points are speed and maneuverability and the wedge shape. It's probably one of the most simplest robots here. If I lift it up here, this is the inner chassis of La Machine. It's basically some chain-driven wheels with the motors over here. It's all independently shock mounted. We've got a steel reinforced battery case. It's made of wood, it's very simple. And as you can see, it's independently mounted onto the outer body.
The South Bay Mauler was also overpowered by La Machine.
Hi, I'm Kurt Myers.
I'm Amy Sun. We're Operation Boilermaker.
And this is our heavyweight entry, Kiloamp.
And it's a pun on the word kiloamp, which means 1,000 amps, and our motors draw 1,000 amps, so he chose a name. There's no speed control. All it is on and off, forward and reverse for each of the 2 motors. So it drives like a tank and it goes really fast. Our strategy for the competition today, hopefully we'll just be able to go straight and turn when we want to, and just ram into another robot
and crush it against
a wall.
Hi, my name is John Washburn. This is our robot, the Scorpion. It's ran by a hydraulic system that's powered by a two-stroke gasoline motor. Our tail has a second joint here. It's also ran hydraulically. It has a very high velocity. We've been having the chance to make marks in the asphalt at home. We're driving it around. In the very back, we have a feature, is our flipper. We were able to pick up several tables with our rear flipper during practice. We just got to get started out there and we'll see what kind of luck we have.
Well, the Master's got a new toy. Yeah, his snake robot's a kind of interesting weapon. It weighs 300 pounds, and to be honest with you, I don't even know where to begin on that thing. If he gets it in the ring, it's anybody's guess.
This is my 4th year of Robot Wars. My old robot is called the Master. And I have a new robot this year called the Snake. My first match with this thing was with the Red Scorpion team, and the match went interesting. The Scorpion won, which was appropriate. And afterwards, they came over and they helped me weld the thing back together again. They went out of their way to really help out and get the thing back into shape again. And that's just typical of the kind of people that are brought here. Enthusiastic people who have one thing in common, and that is the love of building things and making things work and having a lot of fun with them.
I've attended the 2 previous Robot Wars, and I thought I'd give it a shot this year. This is Biohazard, and it has a forklift type of scoop up here that is intended to flip over the other robot.
This was a keenly anticipated battle between a couple of the best engineered robots in the competition. But Biohazard's arm again proved to be a formidable weapon. Biohazard went on to win the prize for the best engineered robot.
Our sphere of doom and contestants are ready to safety orders. Let's kick off this match. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action!
The Master and the Red Scorpion had both been humiliated in the opening rounds, and both wanted to show they were made of tougher stuff. The Master soon wished he hadn't bothered as the Red Scorpion pinned him.
Hi, my name's Richard Brill. This is my robot Prometheus. I've been fascinated with robots ever since I can remember. This is the power source, which is two 12-volt batteries in series, gives us 24 volts total. Feeds the drive motors and also the weapon system. The weapons are powered by a 24-volt DC motor, which turns that chain, operates a spear back and forth in the front, somewhat like a crankshaft, with about a 3.5-inch stroke.
Without a doubt, the most spectacular one-on-one of the day comes in the heavyweight class. Caleb Chung's wooden Beetle versus Mark Satrakian's menacing Master.
be going up against Thor. Now, Thor is a fairly straightforward robot. It's extremely powerful, which is very scary. So I'll try to get around the side of it, maybe pick it up. If I can get him with a saw, if I can cut in deeply enough, I might be able to break one of his hydraulic lines, which would basically immobilize that terrible bucking hammer of his, and try to avoid being hit. If I can outmaneuver him, which is probable, I should be able to get in, do some damage.
Thor weighs 159.5 pounds. Thor's favorite feature is the titanium hammer up front. We've got a 100cc two-stroke in there that runs a hydraulic pump. So all of Thor's features are powered hydraulically.
This is Biohazard. It's an all-electric design. I've got two electric actuators here that raise this arm up and try to flip over the other robot. I've got 4 big batteries back here, 50 pounds of batteries, about 30 pounds of motors. I'm thinking it's about 3 horsepower total on the drive and on the arm. And I've got spring-loaded anti-intrusion devices under here to prevent other robots, other wedges from getting underneath me. And my scoop up here is also spring-loaded so I can get underneath. It'll pick up a piece of paper off the ground.
Looks like both of our competitors are ready to go. Let's kick off this final heavyweight round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
The winner of this match would face La Machine in the finals, and the smart money was on Biohazard to win. But Vlad the Impaler wasn't about to make it easy for him. Biohazard was able to lift the 165-pound Vlad high enough to stop Vlad's wheels having any traction. And then Vlad got stuck on Biohazard's arm.
If Biohazard can back off, it will win this match. Biohazard, can you move?
Hazard's frustrated act of revenge came to nothing as Biohazard righted itself to take the winner's bow. And Biohazard had an instant fan club.
Well, after the contest was over, I guess the opponent didn't know it was over. He came and flipped me over. But I was able to right myself, so I won. I don't think anything's broken. Ooh, look at this guy.
Yeah, Robert is genius.
Good.
Battle scar.
A notch in my belt.
What's happening here?
That's a notch in my belt.
Is that the closest call?
Yeah, that was a close one. Yeah. In fact, I don't expect as much trouble from La Machine.
Go, ladies and gentlemen.
The main event, the grand melee, a free-for-all among all surviving robots. Yes, this is survival of the fittest.
It's a very aggressive, potentially violent sport that is also, people are free to enjoy, you know, because it's not politically incorrect, because there's no bloodshed. I mean, it's a license to use, you know, technology and technical skills in competition, and nobody gets hurt.
Could this be the future of war? Mechanized combat instead of bloodshed?
Tiny Tim takes a whack at the X1 from Madison, but suddenly the Beetle rushes forward and disarms him. Meanwhile, the South Bay Mauler against the Housebot is David taking on Goliath. A crowd favorite from the lightweight class, Spiny Norman, has lost its spines and is soon crushed by the Housebot. A vengeful Tiny Tim cleans the hood ornament right off the Beetle. But wait, at the far end of the arena, the Mauler scores a major upset, prying an arm off the House robot. But the Housebot discovers it has an even more dreadful weapon now. After more than 10 minutes of remote-controlled mayhem, the South Bay Mauler, minus its maces, but one of only 2 competitors still running, is declared the winner of the inaugural Robot Wars.
Really what did it was the ability of this to get bashed, take a fair bit of deformation and damage, stay on its feet, and of our batteries not to run down. Good solid controller technology. We did not have an external antenna. We had an internal antenna. One of the things I liked about this is that it's not virtual reality. It's not software. It obeys the basic laws of physics.
Asked by the upper competitions, the Master and the Thor, to go up against the heavyweights. The middleweight class is now going to see if this little guy can compete, and hopefully we'll do well.
The number of robots in each melee competition is limited by the number of radio frequencies available, as each radio-controlled robot needs its own frequency. In this first heavyweight melee, 5 robots fight to the death, or to whoever is left alive after 5 minutes. Again, the Master had a lot to prove, having been beaten twice. This was his last chance. With the Master crippled, it came down to a game of tag between La Machine and Biohazard, with nothing being allowed to get in the way. La Machine grabbed its chance and caught Biohazard and slammed him into the corner, where he was trapped upside down. Now La Machine was intent on demolishing everyone else. Vlad the Impaler goes up and over. Dumor doomed. And poor old the Master brushed aside. Having got the victory spin out of the way, La Machine gives Biohazard a health check, just to show who's boss.
This is the ancient bunny ring of death, and this robot's name is Triple Redundancy. It's a cluster bot, goes in as one and it breaks off, and we use tape as a weapon, and when one distracts, we just wrap them all up. They're made of just RC cars with tape on top.
It doesn't take long for Triple Redundancy to take things up. It splits 3 ways and causes chaos, especially for Spiky. X2 won because they avoided the tape, which has also been banned from future competitions.
This is a robot this is the Lorena robot, representing Lorena Bobbitt here. And this robot is actually more for show. And it just has this top, and there's a chassis right here that has all the technical stuff with motors and electronics and all. And then there's the separate piece that we use for the actual competition. We'll actually be competing both of them, but this one's the one that we plan on anything happening. And the main feature of this is that it spins really fast.
end, the surprise winner was Lorena. The Master is back with a new weapon, a blade. Watch the Master get its blade under La Machine, and with Pungar pushing, they trap La Machine on the flipper and pin him. But he's only stuck for a minute. La Machine gets its revenge on Pungar. Taz tangles with Red Scorpion. And Marvin looks for a victim to lash with his chains. Munch gets the La Machine treatment. Nemesis gets the La Machine treatment. And now it's Taz's turn. Finally, the audience gets to judge who has won.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go down into the ring and have you, the audience, pick the winner of the heavyweight melee round. We're going to go through the robots that are still mobile. We'll have to ask your opinion. We have
It was real tough. We burned out a motor, our whole battery case just died, fell on the ground, it just split and was cracked. And then all the guys from RoboWars got together, they gave us drill press, they gave us pins, they gave us glue, everyone just came together, helped get La Machine back together. We went out there and we did well.
La Machine, sole survivor.
We'll be back next year. Whole new La Machine, La Machine 3.
La Machine will be at every Robot War.
Watch out.